Hello aspirants. Looking at current affairs for 24th November, the news items picked up from the Hindu newspaper are these 18. We'll look at them in detail. The first one, it's official. EPS-OPS group is AIADMK. So this was the issue of which is the actual AIADMK party, the political party which has majority in the legislature and the executive organizational wing also, and also will retain the symbol of AIADMK and its name. So the two factions which were formed after the death of Jayalalitha, the head of AIADMK before this. So after her death, it was two factions. One faction was actually headed by Chief Minister Edapatti K. Palaniswamy and his deputy O. Paneerselvam, and the other faction was headed by V. K. Sasikala, who was a close aide of the former Chief Minister Jayalalitha and also her nephew T.T.V. Dinakar. Presently, you know, Sasikala, she is behind bars for the disproportionate assets case, and the real AIADMK now has been accorded by the Election Commission. So it's the Election Commission which decides, because allocation of party symbols and names approval, that is done by the Election Commission. So it has allotted the two leaves symbol of AIADMK to the ruling faction presently, holding that this is the faction of AIADMK which has majority in the legislative and organizational wing of the party, and also it will get the symbol too. So this is the second time that AIADMK has managed to reclaim its name and frozen poll symbol. Earlier, such a thing had happened in 1989. So when there was a conflict amongst factions. So this is the news here. Then next is more seats for Sikkim Assembly. So the Home Ministry has proposed to increase the number of seats in the Sikkim Legislative Assembly from 32 to 40. This is the first time that the number of seats here will be increased since the state merged with the Indian Union in 1975. So Sikkim before that was a protectorate state. It was under monarchy. Eventually monarchy was abolished and it was fully integrated into India in 1975. So here the number of seats increased at 8, and these are been increased to accommodate reservation for two more communities, Limbu and Tamang, which have been notified as scheduled tribes in Sikkim in 2003. So here you can see the map shows the complete details about the number of seats. So number of seats presently are shown here, as you can see. So the other tribes, Bhutias, Lepchas, have 12 seats reserved for them. So that will remain the same. 8 more seats being added are for Limbu Tamang 5 and 3 more for other communities. The Sangha community has 1 seat reserved, and scheduled castes also have 2 seats reserved. So this is the increase which will take place. The present seats and proposed seats or 8 seat increase is shown here. So this is the state here, Sikkim. So here you can see the further details are also given. So the Bhutias and Lepchas, these seats are reserved not because they are a scheduled tribe, but this is because of an agreement between the ex-Chogyal. Chogyal was the name of the king of Sikkim. So king of Sikkim and political parties had an agreement with the government of India. So this agreement in 1973 calls for reservation for Bhutias and Lepchas also. And as per constitutional provisions, the total number of seats reserved for SCs should be in proportion to their population. So to accommodate that and to ensure that any community does not have their seats decreased, this initiative has been taken. A petition was also filed in the Supreme Court, in which the ruling came in 2016, in which the Supreme Court directed the High Court to take necessary measures to adequately represent the Limbu and Tamang community. So that initiative has been put forth into effect now. So the Ministry of Law and Justice will have a proposal sent to it to amend the Representation of People's Act. So this is the act which will have to be amended to make provision for increase in the seats in the state legislature. So it's actually as per the Delimitation Act of 2002, number of seats in an assembly in any state can only be readjusted on the basis of first census conducted after 2026. So, but this is an exception because again, special constitutional provisions are there for Sikkim. So these changes can be made. So final order will be made by the Delimitation Commission. So there is an amendment also required, plus the Delimitation Commission will also pass an order and it is constitutionally possible to make these changes. Then next is Vyapam scam. CBI files charge sheet against 592 accused. So Vyapam scam has been in news for a long time now. You should know what is Vyapam scam. It stands for Madhya Pradesh Vyavsaik Pariksha Mandal. So that is the acronym Vyapam. So it's an autonomous board under the Directorate of Technical Education which held entrance tests for colleges, entrance exams for colleges and for government jobs also. So the CBI has presently filed charge sheet against 592 accused persons in this Vyapam scam. So these include even chairman of 4 private medical colleges in Madhya Pradesh. So this is regarding the alleged irregularities in the 2012 pre-medical tests. So a number of persons are accused here, prominent persons, even from the Vyapam, the autonomous body. So this forgery and impersonation which took place resulted in a number of people being accused here, a number of deaths taking place of people who were involved in investigation of this case or otherwise. Even the persons whose name came, many have died unnatural deaths. So this is the case. So presently 2 CBI officials have explained the modus operandi of this scam, in which middlemen were hired bright students from various states to appear in this entrance examinations. And they had the seat numbers also arranged. So these people sat in front of the candidates for whom they were impersonating and helping them, and they could then allow them to easily copy the answers. And later when the impersonator would be selected, he would withdraw his appointment or the admission. So this is how they would this would take place, and the CBI also managed to identify these impersonators through a grilling exercise by checking past hostel and hotel records close to the test centers in Madhya Pradesh, matching their photographs on applications with those available on social media. The credit card payments were tracked for stays, and such online tracking and surveillance was used to nab these impersonators. And we have so many arrests taking place now. Then next is, can Pakistan ensure safety of Jadhav kin, asks India. So you should know about Kulbhushan Jadhav. He is accused in Pakistan. He is a former Indian Navy official and he has been accused in Pakistan for spying. So here for spying and creating unrest in Balochistan province here. So he had given a video recording has also been released in which he has confessed to this this allegation as such. But then India as such maintains his innocence, and it is said that he was actually in Iran and from there he had been arrested. So Kulbhushan Jadhav, he has been sentenced to death by a Navy court here. So the military court here has sentenced him to death, and India is seeking consular access for him, which Pakistan has denied it, and India says by this Pakistan is violating Vienna Convention on Consular Relations and Human Rights. So consular access needs to be provided. India should get connected to him, but that has been denied. Plus the request made by India that his mother and wife should be able to visit him, that has been accepted by the Pakistan authorities, and now India wants that their safety should be ensured. So for that, it has been stated that they will travel to Islamabad if Pakistan gives sovereign guarantees for their safety during the visit, and it should allow an Indian High Commission official from Islamabad to accompany them all the time. So this is what is being sought here. The tempers are high in Pakistan too. The Pakistan government is being criticized for being lenient on Kulbhushan Jadhav after him giving a videotaped confession as such too. So this allegation on him is that he had tried to create unrest in Balochistan province in Pakistan. So you should know about this Balochistan province too. So here this is Kulbhushan Jadhav. So he has been charged under Section 15 of Pakistan RB Act. So military courts here are given immense powers, and these military courts have been introduced in Pakistan in 2015 itself. and they are automatically, military courts actually were automatically disbanded after 2 years. So here you can see, just days before Jadav's conviction, the military court was also given an extension of another 2 years in Pakistan. So here is the Balochistan province of Pakistan, the region of unrest in Pakistan. So the way Kashmir sees unrest in India, Balochistan province of Pakistan is also the region of unrest. Here they claim that this is not part of Pakistan and they want independence. So the activists here are claiming or demanding independence from Pakistan. Then next is keeping TB away with a healthy diet. So the Indian Council of Medical Research is initiating this trial in which it will monitor 2,000 TB patients in Jharkhand, and they will also ensure that they are well fed. So if there is a healthy diet given to them, to what extent this good diet influences TB treatment is to be checked. So a link is whether it's there or not between the two is being checked here. So macronutrients have been provided, but they alone seem to be not be sufficient. Actually, there was an experiment in 20th century in England where tuberculosis patients, in the absence of viable drugs, were given nutritious diet. And it turned out that the overall health in the community vastly improved and patients got better and there was less spread of disease to family and neighborhood. So tuberculosis also spreads easily. So this is a test being done by ICMR. So this is also after the results come forth out of this, it will also be decided, because Government of India also proposes to provide cash assistance to tuberculosis patients to help them with adequate nutrition. So this proposal will also be put into effect once the results are out. So this study outcomes are expected to be there after 1 year of the study is over. So under the revised National Tuberculosis Control Program, the Health Ministry is having this proposal that an additional this cash assistance of rupees 5,000 should be given. So we'll see whether this is put into effect or not. Otherwise, you should know India is the largest contributor of global burden of TB in the world, though the number of deaths due to TB have declined and even number of new cases have marginally declined. Still, India continues to be the largest contributor, having maximum number of TB patients and deaths in the world. This is regarding the revised National TB Control Program 2, which was launched in 1997 based on World Health Organization's DOTS, Directly Observed Treatment Short Course Strategy. So the entire country has been covered as of March, with effect from March 2006, and it is a 100% centrally sponsored program. Next is bamboo ceases to be a tree, freed of Forest Act. So after 90 years of Indian Forest Act being in place, that is the Indian Forest Act of 1927, now bamboo has been removed from the list of plants which are considered as trees. So bamboo is no longer a tree according to the law in the country. Even scientifically, taxonomically also, bamboo is a grass. So it has been removed from this list of plants considered as trees. So this has been done through an ordinance. So an amendment has to be made to an act. So an amendment to an act can be made only through an ordinance presently, because Parliament is not in session. So the executive, the president, promulgates the ordinance. So once the Parliament is in place, then Parliament will also have to approve this. So this has been done. Ordinances are generally promulgated in cases of emergencies and when the Parliament is not in session and something needs to be urgently done. But presently this has been done, and the idea is that bamboo, which is considered as a tree, put restrictions on it that it could be cultivated only in forest area. So it couldn't be cultivated in non-forest area was one restriction. Second restriction was also that village councils required permits for its use, even it was not part of the forest product which tribals could use in their locality. And bamboo has multiple purposes. It is used for various purposes, like it is used as an edible item, for furniture, for construction, and also its movement along the border, state borders, was also difficult. So now if it's not a tree, then it could easily be ferried across state borders too. So the Union Environment Minister actually has stated that this ordinance has been promulgated to promote cultivation of bamboo in non-forest areas, and the twin objectives of increasing income of farmers in the country and also increasing the green cover would be achieved. So this is the case here. Also, bamboo demand is high in India. So 19% of the world's area under bamboo cultivation is in India, but the market share is only of 6%. So we import timber and other allied products. So once bamboo cultivation is promoted, we will see this also showing the benefits. So here you can see the details are provided. So it has the Indian Forest Act of 1927 had declared bamboo as a tree, but now it has been removed. Though bamboo is classified taxonomically according to scientific naming as a grass. So if it's regarded as a tree, it's a major forest resource, and denied access to it was denied to forest dwellers. And if it's a grass, it's a minor forest product, and that's why natives of forests have right to access bamboo. Then next is unite to fight dark forces in digital space, Prime Minister. So at the Global Conference on Cyberspace, which was attended by delegates from 131 countries, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has called for creation of cyber warriors. So cyber warriors should be these well-equipped and capable professionals trained to counter cyber threats and keep digital space safe. So it's sharing of information and coordination among nations to ensure digital space does not become a playground for dark forces of terrorism and radicalization is very important. So that has been highlighted here, calling for cyber warriors. So there's an ongoing debate in the country too about data privacy. So data privacy is also an issue and national security is also an issue, and there needs to be a balance between the 2 points. So this is also been put forth. Also, the cyberspace is a key area of innovation. So many startups can come forth in this region. So India is also promoting startups in this aspect. So that has also been highlighted. And the Umang app, mobile app, was also launched by the Prime Minister. So this Umang is unified mobile application for new age governance. So this brings governance, one step away through a mobile application. So here you can see what Umang provides for. It is a single point access to major government services through the mobile. So here you can see the services. There are around 70 services available on Umang. For students, CBC, SC, E-Pathshala of NCERT, AICTE is available. For farmers, crop insurance information, soil health card, AgMarkNet are available. On health, the online registration of patients is possible. For youth, it is the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, which can be accessed. Housing, it is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. Then for transport, Vahan, Sarthi, these are available. For household too, gas booking is available. For pensioners, NPS, National Pension Scheme is available. And also for, it is available for e-migrate. So these are the services presently available on Umang. So you can see it will be 12/7 customer support being provided. So, and also there will be a toll-free number available. It supports multiple languages also. So it's a single app download which will easily provide access to governance. So that is unified mobile app for new age governance. And soon other services would also be added like passport, income tax, PAN card, etc. Then next is Center will give constitutional status to NCBC. So this is regarding National Commission for Backward Classes. So National Commission for Backward Classes is through an act of the Parliament. It has not been provided a constitutional status, and the government has initiated an amendment, a constitutional amendment. This is the 123rd Amendment Bill, which has been passed by the Lok Sabha in April 2017 and has been pending in the Rajya Sabha, and the government claims that it is the Congress political party which is blocking the bill in the Rajya Sabha. So the government wants to give constitutional status to this body. National Commission for Scheduled Castes, National Commission for Scheduled Tribes is already part of the constitution. So these are constitutional bodies. Now NCBC will also be given the same status, constitutional status, once this bill is passed by Rajya Sabha too and gets assent of the President. So this is there. So here you can see under Article 338B, which provides for, it will make provision for constitution of a commission for socially and educationally backward classes, and that will be National Commission for Backward Classes. So the Act of 1993 will be repealed. Then next is Supreme Court dumps PMLA clause denying bail. So the Supreme Court has struck down a provision in Prevention of Money Laundering Act. This is section 45(1) of this Act of 2002. So this act has been declared as violating the fundamental rights to equality, life and personal liberty guaranteed under the Constitution by the Supreme Court. So this section will no longer be applicable. So this section actually denied bail to a person even if there were reasonable grounds to believe that she did not commit the offense of money laundering. So this actually provision called for an accused to satisfy two conditions if whether the bail should be granted or not. So accused is considered worthy of bail under this section, was considered, you should say, it's no longer applicable. Only if the prosecutor is allowed a chance to oppose it. First of all, the prosecutor will say, okay, you can oppose it. Second is that the court should reasonably believe that he is not guilty of predicate offense. So what is this predicate offense? Is that the money, laundered money, which is used as a proceeds of the crime, has been used for predicate offenses. So predicate offenses are crimes from 26 different laws, like waging war against the government of India, offense under Narcotics, Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Act, or under IPC, Wildlife Protection Act, Prevention of Corruption Act, child labor laws, etc. So all such offenses are considered predicate offenses. So it should be reasonably believed that he is not guilty of such offenses. So money laundering has been done, but whether he was involved in such offenses or not, this also has to be ensured. So if this is ensured and if the prosecutor is allowed to oppose, then the bail can be granted. So this is the case here. This provision has now been struck down. And the Supreme Court has asked courts across the country that there are thousands of cases of under trials who have been languishing in prisons, unable to get bail because of this provision. So that issue has to be taken up by the courts as a general direction. This has been said. So this is regarding the Prevention of Money Laundering Act 2. You should understand money laundering is a subject in your syllabus for mains. So the money laundering is important. This is the act which is the legal framework in India to combat money laundering. So money laundering basically means money which has not been declared, so in the income etc. has now been put forth in some other way. So the actual source is not shown and it's through some other means that this money is being shown and brought back into the country. So black money is made into white money. It's laundered. So that's what money laundering is all about. So the provisions under this act also call for, also call money laundering offences as what are they? That is defined. It provides for freezing, seizure, and even confiscation of the proceeds of crime. There are obligations on banking companies, financial institutions, and intermediaries to verify identity of clients, maintain records, and furnish information to the Financial Intelligence Unit of India. Then next is Myanmar Bangladesh sign agreement on Rohingya Muslims. So the two nations have presently signed an MOU on the return of Rohingya people who had fled the Rakhine state in the wake of military crackdown there. So at least 6 lakh Rohingya people had fled Myanmar and entered into Bangladesh, and now the MOU which has been signed. So it is since August 2017 this migrant exodus has been coming to Bangladesh, and now the deal which has been signed, MOU which has been signed, is having Myanmar ready to take back the Rohingyas. But then still there are conditions which Bangladesh wanted which were not accepted by Myanmar. First of all, Bangladesh wanted a time frame, that when will this process begin and when would it end. That has not been agreed to by Myanmar. Also, Bangladesh wanted involvement of UN agencies in the verification process. This was also rejected by Myanmar, because Myanmar, the thing is that it has denied citizenship to Rohingyas. So they were stateless people living in Myanmar, and now after the military crackdown on the Rakhine state, the Rohingyas here, after a Rohingya terrorist attack which took place. So in response, the military operation has actually resulted in houses and farms being burned. So hundreds of villages have been burned now. So how will their safety be ensured in the country is also a huge question. So the Buddhist majority here has for years been targeting the Rohingyas. As such, communal violence has been committed against them. So this is the whole issue here. But this MOU has been signed between the two states now. So the whole history of Rohingyas is also provided here if you have not gone through it earlier, because Rohingya issue has been going on for long. You can go through it here. Next is China Djibouti to forge strategic ties. The two nations, the African nation of Djibouti, which is in the Horn of Africa, a small nation here as such. Bab el Mandab is the strait here, narrow water body, which is connecting Djibouti with Yemen too. So this Djibouti state is the one where China has opened its first overseas military base. So this naval logistic base in Djibouti, Horn of Africa, was operationalized by China in August 2017, and now a strategic partnership is being decided to be established between the two nations. So all-round cooperation would be put into effect. Also, they will go ahead with Belt and Road construction as such too, and bilateral relations would be further strengthened. So this is there, that they have signed deals to cooperate in economic, technical and agricultural fields. Then next is police order asylum seekers out of Australian run camp. So this is Australia run camp in Papua New Guinea. So Papua New Guinea is a small island nation here above Australia. This is the Indonesia. Half of this island also is part of Indonesia. So this Papua New Guinea has a small island here, Manus Island, and on this island there was an Australia run detention camp. There were around 50 asylum seekers who have departed from this after the police cracked down on them. So they confiscated food, water and personal belongings, and there are around 310 asylum seekers who still remain here, and the police claim that this is an illegal stay. Even United Nations has highlighted that this action is actually a looming humanitarian crisis. So the attempt is now being made by Australia and Papua New Guinea government to close this detention camp here, where asylum seekers are residing. Then next is Pakistan failed to save Qatasraj temple, says its Supreme Court. So the Supreme Court of Pakistan has criticized the government of Punjab province for its failure to safeguard this Qatasraj temple, which is one of the most revered places of worship for the Hindus in Pakistan. So the Supreme Court actually took a suo motu notice after reports came in local media that the Qatasraj temple pond was drying up because cement factories and settlements in the adjoining region were drawing water through bore wells. So because of this, the aquifer feeding the pond was facing fall in water level, and due to this the consequences were seen. Punjab government also agreed to this, and the Pakistan Supreme Court has now ordered establishment of a high level committee to probe into the matter, and it has also issued a notice to the cement factory. So there should be alternatives seen that how water level has to be maintained. So this is regarding Qatasraj temple. So this Qatasraj pond is actually believed by Hindus to have been formed after Lord Shiva wept on the death of his wife Sati. So this is the historical or mythological significance, religious significance of this place. Then next is President's nod for Bankruptcy Ordinance. So President Ramnath Kovind has given his assent to the ordinance which we discussed yesterday. So this ordinance has been promulgated to amend the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code of 2016. So it will be prohibiting willful defaulters, those who have accounts classified as NPS for 1 year or more, and also habitually non-compliant, from regaining control of defaulting companies or stressed assets through backdoor. So they cannot be resolution applicants. So this is there. Also amendments provide for fine. Fines can range from rupees 1 lakh to rupees 2 crores. So if any of these norms are violated, there can be a fine imposed as well. And also the amendment provides check by specifying that committee of creditors should ensure the viability and feasibility of the resolution plan before approving it. Also, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India, the regulatory body under the code IBC, has also been given additional powers for this matter. Then next is India to help Mauritius on digital locker. So the government of India has agreed to assist Mauritius, which has shown interest in India's DigiLocker services. So they will be helped to develop a digital locker service. So the government will provide technical support and advisory services to Mauritius for this matter. So this digital locker has been promoted by the government of India. So it can be logged in using Aadhaar card. You can upload your documents here. You can view your documents issued by various departments and digitally sign your documents and then share these for official purposes. So this is a digital locker. You can see this is the front end. So a government of India based cloud-based platform for issuance and verification of documents and certificates digitally. So you can access your documents anytime, anywhere, share your documents by digitally for verification also, and e-sign documents as well. Self-attestation is also possible. So this is the DigiLock. Then next is PSU oil M&As exempt from CCI norm. So for oil public sector undertakings, means in the petroleum sector, oil sector, mergers and acquisitions would not require approval from the Competition Commission of India for 5 years from now. So this is being proposed here, you can see. So this actually has been done through the government initiative in public interest, it is said, to undertake key economic reforms, to increase the growth, to promote the growth in the government-run oil companies. This has been news for long that the government of India wants to merge oil PSUs to make it into a larger entity, because ONGC is one of the largest oil PSU in the country and it is not able to compete internationally, bidding for oil and gas fields like Russian companies and other companies from across the globe because of its size compared to them. So for that matter, government wants merger of oil PSUs in the country to make it into a larger entity which can compete internationally. So already we have seen in July 2017, in principle approval has been given by the cabinet for strategic sale of Government of India's stake, 51.11% stake in HPCL to ONGC, along with transfer of management control. So this is also resulting in disinvestment, means government is getting this much percentage of money from ONGC and ONGC is getting management control. So this is how it is being done. Government is also benefiting from disinvestment and ONGC, it is claimed, is being expanded by giving control of HPCL as well. So this is there, you can see. Also, you should know that in August 2017, the Ministry of Corporate Affairs had notified that central government in public interest is also exempting reconstitution, transfer of the whole or part thereof and amalgamation of nationalized banks. So presently it's about PSUs. Even for banks, they can be reconstituted, transferred, merged. They would not have the Competition Act of 2002 applicable for them for a period of 10 years. So this exemption has also been given to nationalized banks and now to oil PSUs also for 5 years. So under the Competition Act of 2002, combinations over and above a certain threshold need the competition watchdog's approval. So this is there. Now you can see the Competition Act details are also provided. It was enacted in 2003, the CCI was established in 2003 as such too, but then legal challenges delayed its full constitution. Finally, an amendment was done in 2007, post which the Competition Commission of India was fully constitutionalized and fully constituted and established on 1st March 2009. Then next is Center sets floor price for export of onions. So there is a minimum export price now which has been imposed by the Center of $850 per metric tons of onion. So this will be applicable till the end of 2017. So this has been an initiative taken by the central government to boost domestic supplies and prevent increase in prices. So presently we are seeing onion prices are increasing. So to make sure that there is sufficient onion available in the market and it does not go for exports, a minimum export price has been imposed. So this is a rate below which export cannot take place. It will not be permitted. So 2 years ago, a minimum export price was removed. That time it was removed to give better incentives to farmers, and now it has been reimposed to boost domestic supplies and control the price rise. So this is there. Also, export will be permitted only on letter of credit, which will be subject to the minimum export price too. So even the MMTC has been asked to import 2,000 tons of onion. Small Farmers Agribusiness Consortium, NAFED, have been asked to make domestic purchases and supply the vegetable to the consuming areas as such too. So onion exports are also increasing. So that is why this minimum export price has been imposed. Then next is the last news item. Particle accelerator for art revs up. So the world's only particle accelerator, this is AIADMK. So this is a 37-meter particle accelerator which is underneath a huge Paris museum. So here it has been used, it will now be used for the first time to routinely study and help authenticate paintings and other items made of organic materials. So this analysis can take place and the authentication can be ensured of artifacts without affecting them. So this old accelerator was built in 1988 and was working for a limited time and its limited functioning, but now the particle accelerator has been upgraded and it will be used for routine study and authentication. So here the details are also provided about this particle accelerator in Paris. So you can see the particle accelerator, particles are speeded up towards it, protons, alpha particles and helium ions, and you can see from the artifact it will go back. So here this beam, you can see beam of high energy particles bombard the artifact. The artifact emits X-rays and gamma rays, and the detectors here identify the chemical elements present in the outer layers of the object to show when, where and how it was made. So this has been upgraded now, AIADMK. So it has been automated, it's more sensitive and less likely to damage artifacts more than its 30-year-old predecessor. So it can analyze glass, ceramic, metals to determine where the minerals were mined. Also it can date them and also detect chemical traces of paints to reveal the original color of the artifacts as well. So these are the news items. Thank you.